right, what I'm doing is we're pretty much done with cutting the floor out. I went ahead and ordered some braces for it. We're going to go ahead and replace those. But in the meantime, I want to get the whole back end of the car ready to put back together. Now, we won't be able to do anything until we get the braces in and the floor. We found some rust in the inner fender well in here. We're going to have to cut that out, and we'll add some onto it. That's pretty common on these 66, 67 Chevelles. I've done dozens of them like that, and they work out great. But what we got here, we got the quarter panel extension. I'm sorry, this is not the extension. This is a patch panel. Now, normally, I don't use the whole panel. I only use it to where the rust is, but this is so, what can we say, extreme. I'm going to have to go ahead and use this whole panel. All right, I'm going to have to use this whole panel to my benefit to get this to fit properly. So if you look real close right here, you can see that's got a dog leg. And what that's for is to slide up under. Once I cut this out, this will slide up like that underneath, and then it'll be a, give us a nice good place to weld this onto. So we're going to use this whole panel. Now, another thing I want you to pay attention to, this does not go all the way out here. And we have rust right here, look at that. So hopefully our panel will cover that. We're not going to cut it out to right here. We're going to cut it back here, and then we'll fit it in. The whole bottom of this is rotted. We got the inner fender lip right here. It's rotted here, so I'm going to cut up here like this. I'm going to come across this line here, and then I'm going to cut this. We'll fold this back. I'm sure it'll probably just fall off. And then we'll take a look and see what the extension looks like. Basically, like I said, it's just going to fall off. So now that we can see inside the structure, what we're looking at here is this is the floor. This is the floor here. This is the floor extension. You can see right here where it spot welds on to the inner panel right here. We're going to go ahead and bust those loose, and we'll get this taken off next. And then this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut this right in this area here. We're not going to go all the way out to here with it. We don't need to. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here just like that for now. And then we will work our way back to fit it in. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. Cutter can't get in there. Let me see if I can get it from the top. And then I'm going to explain to you here in a minute. Let me get it out of there, and I'll explain why I'm doing it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and take my air chisel, see if I can bust this loose. there it is. So this is our floor extension. It's got there were two spot welds, maybe three. I was holding it to the inner fender right here. And then of course the floor is on top of that. But the reason that I cut that short right here is because inside the floor, let me go ahead and show you that. So if we take a look right here where I cut the floor off, because remember the floor actually goes up here. It goes up here. So I cut it down here because I'm going to overlap it right here. And I wanted to make it the same length as the floor all the way across. So I still got to cut this up so we can go ahead and spot weld to this inner structure here. But then I will graph it in to the existing panel itself as far as the drop goes, the floor extension. So I don't know if we can get a good look at the inner fender well right here, but this is rotted. And I will have to cut the rust off of it. And we'll have the wheel off to do that with. We're going to take the tire and wheel off. But I'll have to cut that off and then I'll add some steel to it. I'll make my own piece of metal. It'll come down to about right here. And then once I put the floor in, the floor extension and everything else, then we can figure out where we need to cut that off so it'll all look factory original. That's a pretty common thing on these Chevelles, that these inner fender wells here, they rot out. You can see that, look at that. So, yeah, it's rotted, guys. That's common on the 66, 67s. I've done dozens of them like that. So, all right, let's go ahead and test fit our panel on there and see how that fits. Okay, so here's our panel. And then this is going to go up underneath this, just like that. And actually it's going to go right here. Kind of visualize this underneath this. I haven't cut it and spliced it. But this is going to go underneath that panel, just like that. And once I put this on, if you look really close, you can see it comes all the way over to here. So that's actually good for us. So once we get everything figured out and we get the inner panel in, we can go ahead and finish cutting this to fit, and then it'll look like that right there. Okay, what we got is to my shocking surprise, I didn't think this car was ever painted before, and I don't think the whole car was, but look what we found here. We found some Bondo in our quarter panel. Wow. That is pretty shocking. I thought for sure that all this was factory original, never been painted, never been anything. And come down to it, we found Bondo up to this area right in here. There was a dent right there. So what I'm doing with my cutting wheel, I'm cleaning off the excess that was left behind from cutting it off with the electric cutting wheel. Because because when I weld that on there, I want it to be nice and tight, if that makes any sense. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to grind the inside face of this and try to get some of that undercoating off of it. Okay, we got that cleaned out really good. I'm going to take my cutting wheel and try to get that end over there where I can't get to. Okay, so what I did to get this fit on there properly, once again, you can see the stair step right here that we got going on. But what I did is I cut a notch over here on this end, and then this is going to roll around here, and that lip right there is going to slide up in there. Now on this end over here, I didn't cut the end here, I cut it right here because I want this to go on the outside. We still have to trim this section. So let's go ahead and see if this is going to fit on here like we want. Okay, right here on this corner, I need to just bring that out just a hair, just like that, and we'll get that back straight, don't worry. That's just going to fit it on there. So we're going to slide this inside, and then that's on the outside. And then if you look right there, you can see that's going to fit really, really nice. So if you look right here, you can see exactly what we're talking about. This panel is underneath, and then we'll be able to weld that right there real nice and clean. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut the body of the car off right here, and then I'm going to come around here and cut it off, and then we will butt weld this fender lip on there. But for right now, what we're going to do, we can't weld anything at the time present. We got to wait until all these other parts get here because we got to start from the inside out, if that makes any sense. What I'm going to do is I am going to clamp this on here. Just like that. So we want to get this precisely on here where it goes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this right here on this corner. And what I'm using my scribe tool. And we can see that it fits really nice right here. I'm going to go ahead to ensure that it doesn't move on us. We'll take a pair of these. Try to get it inside there the best we can. Just like that. And then I'm going to scribe this right here. We'll go ahead and take this out, just like that. And now, if you look really close, you can see where I scribed it right there. Now we can cut that off and fit it into so we can put the quarter panel on. So on this particular situation here, I don't want to cut it and butt weld it. Two reasons why: because we don't have it permanently fit in yet. We still got to put this piece in, which is our floor extension. We can't do that until we have the floor. And I don't want to butt weld this because I want to have a little bit, just a hair of a lip hanging on it. And then that way we're going to get a better weld, because this is actually all covered. This is covered by the bumper and you'll never see it. And we're going to do a lot more cleaning up as we go. Once again, we're just rough fitting them in there. So I'm going to slide this corner up, just like that. While it's up there, I'm going to go ahead and clamp it. See if we can get a clamp in here. And then we'll go ahead and fit this in here, just like that. And now this quarter panel section is fit in there, and we got rid of the rust. But once again, we cannot weld it on there until we get all the other pieces we need to finish the job out. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the other side up, get it ready, and then we'll wait until all the pieces for the floor get here. Do the floor first, floor extensions, and then the outer skins of the quarter panel. Decided to go ahead and start working on the back window area while we're waiting for all the trunk stuff to get here. Once again, I just ordered the braces. We're supposed to get the inside floor extensions. We're supposed to get those today, and I don't know when this other panel is going to be here, the left panel. So we really can't do anything anyway until we get these in approximately another week. So hopefully we'll have everything together. But while we're waiting on that, I decided I'm going to go ahead and work on the back window area. So we know there's surface rust right here. We can see that. And I'm sure that the panel inside here has surface rust. And I'm not going to take this off. But what I am going to do is I have a product, which is this stuff right here that I've been using for pretty much ever. And the only place that I could find to buy this is over at Napa Auto Parts. But this literally will kill the rust. It actually destroys the rust on contact, and they're not lying. It actually works very, very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my research and see if I can actually find some of this that's in a quart container that I can use my spray gun with. And then I will spray the inside of this area down inside here that you're looking at down in there. And we'll get that coated with our Permatex Rust Killer. So there's really no sense cutting this whole thing off. Now I'm going to have to cut it back, but I'm not going to replace the whole thing. That's not going to happen. The main reason is because the four-door rear window is totally different than the two-door. The four-door is different than the two-door, so we're not going to do that. And just to show you what we're talking about, if I take my tape measure and I measure the opening of a four-door, it comes out to 55 3/4. If I take the measurement of the two-door panel from corner to corner, we'll go ahead and go right here. It's 47 on the inside, but the outside of our tray where our glass will lay, it's 47 and a half. So you can see that just by measuring it from this to that, it's totally different. So what I did, I went ahead and purchased two panels. I got two of the two-door panels, and what I'm going to have to do is make one panel out of two panels. Now, you would think that you can slide this all the way over to that end and then come over here and just add this on. Well, that ain't how it works. Because if you look real close, there's a curve. All right? There's a curve on that. So that means that the center of this curve has to be in the center of the car. So what we'll have to do, and I'm sure the curve is totally different, I'm going to show you that. We'll have to take the first panel, and I'll cut it off, because we don't want this back end, we don't need it. This is pretty much scrap. We're going to cut this off right in this area here, and we'll make sure that we make it long enough where we overlap our original panel so we can cut and splice it together where they'll fit perfect. But I'll take that section and then I will lay it up there, and you're going to see this. And then I might have to pie cut, okay, as we go to stretch it out to match the curve on the vehicle. So what I got here, this is actually the original deck lid panel. This is the lip of the original deck lid panel that went in the window opening facing into the vehicle like this. And what we can do is we can take this, and if you look really, really close, I don't know if you can see that from where I'm at, you can see the angle is totally different. But we can find the center point on this piece right here, this piece of trim or whatever it was supposed to be, and we can set that on here, and we can literally go ahead and make our groove the way that we need it to fit our glass. And then cut this other panel here. We'll cut a section off of this side and a section off this side to compensate for the length. And then of course we'll have to make this the same as that. Let's go over there and look at the contour, and I'll show you what we mean. So I'll go ahead and lay this up here just to show you that what you're looking at here is the contour of our glass. Now this was actually down here. When I tore it apart, this was actually right there, just like that. But this is the exact identical contour that we need for our back glass to fit in, and you can kind of see that right here. All right, this is a little bit shorter, but it's going to give us a starting point of what we need to do to make our panel. So what I got to do is I got to find the center of this, and then I'll line it up on my brand new deck panel, and then we'll go from there. Well, let me show you what I went ahead and did here. I took the panel and I went ahead and cut it. This is the full length of the original panel, and I went ahead and cut most of it off, as you can see. But to make the contour the way that I needed it, you can see it's got numbers on it. There's 8 different panels, and I cut those panels and then I laid it in here to make it flat. So we got a situation right here. You can see there's a screw right there. So before I put all these back in here where I want to put them, I'm going to go ahead and trim this edge and get rid of this hangover that we got right here. And then we'll go ahead and trim the edge. There's another hangover right there in the center. And then we'll put our panels back in. And then we'll set our glass in there to basically form it. And hopefully that will line everything up. So I got to take my cutoff wheel, and I got to cut this lip off right here, and I'm going to go all the way down. So I'll cut approximately 1/8 of an inch off all the way across. Okay, so let me go ahead and remind you, in the end, we're probably going to be cutting a lot more than that off. But this is how you got to do it. And now you can see this is laying in there a lot better because we took that section off, and we can go ahead and put our panels in here now. So what that did, by cutting these, it gave us the line that we need, because on this particular glass, it doesn't go like this, it goes like this. It concaves instead of curves, if that makes any sense. I'm going to set it in here. I'm going to bring it down here. And now, what we got is it's actually sitting too low. You can actually see that it's too low right here. If you look in the corner here, you can see it's too low. The glass needs to come way up here. And that's got to go up 3/4 of an inch. And if you look, you can see that this isn't lifting this, it's not lifting the glass up because all these are loose. We'll go ahead and use this. And I am going to mark where this panel goes here. That's our number 8 panel. And then we will lift these corners up. So I will get some metal, put it underneath this. I'll spot weld it to the package tray to lift this up where it's supposed to go. Do you see what I'm doing? How I'm going like this? And then once I get these 2 corners up, 3/4 of an inch, then we can go ahead and get these panels where they're supposed to go. So if I look right here, I can see that there's a gap right here. So if I lift this panel up, that should bring that down on top of this. Okay, so what I did, I went ahead and spot welded all my pieces together, and then we test fit the glass in there, and it seemed like it was going to work out. We're going to have to get rid of these little nipples. We'll have to relocate those for our trim. But what I'm doing now is I'm trimming this off, all this excess that we're not going to use. And then I'll repeat my process on the deck lid panel, and this should fit in there. We've already test fitted it once. It looked good. This is going to go just like that. You can see it fits really nice. I'm going to take this tool right here, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm tongue-tied on the name of that tool. Do you remember what that's called?
Flanging tool.
Flange, there you go. We're going to take this tool. Thank you, Minnie, the body shop girl. You see she's on the ball today. I'm going to put a piece of green tape right on that line. I'm going to cut on this side of the green tape, and then I'm going to make a flange with this tool right here. So that piece right here will be level and sit inside this piece.
Makes like a little bevel.
So that way it'll be flush. And here's our flange. If you look right here, that's a flange if you remember. So I'm going to put this tape right here. I'm going to follow that line that I cut. And it's not perfectly straight, it looks like. We're going to cut that off just like that. Put this right here, just like this.